This is video 6A of the CUTP template instructional series. In this video, we will be demonstrating the basic functions of the initial scheduler. Just before getting to that, I want to just quickly touch on the status messages that you see here in the main screen. These status messages are reminders of key tasks that have yet to be completed, and you want to keep your eye on those. Also, to let you know, there are some filters that help you to view those status messages. Sometimes there's a number of them, and this allows you to see them in particular groupings. Turning back to the PO schedulers, you can access the PO schedulers from the main menu by clicking on the PO scheduler button, and it opens up the three options that are available to you. Just a quick overview of the three options available, starting with the initial scheduler. The initial scheduler allows you to view all levels and phases at one time, showing 11 weeks of training on one screen. This scheduling tool is best suited for doing most of your parade night scheduling. The next option is the level or phase scheduler, where you're able to view only one training level at a time, but you see the entire year. This tool is best suited for fine-tuning each level after having first used the initial scheduler. And finally, the master scheduler allows you to view 3 weeks of training at one time for all levels. It includes features to help you to do the assignment of instructors and classroom locations, manage Year 5 cadets and their individual schedules, and this tool is best suited for managing the detailed implementation of your training plan as you start up and go through your training year. You cannot access the master scheduler until after your training plan has been approved. Again, the initial scheduler is the main scheduling tool, and we will select the scheduler and tour the basic features. In this upper area here, we see the training classes that we had originally set up in the training levels and phases wizard. In this case, we had set up 2 classes of year 1 with 1 class of each remaining level. To the left of that is the dates of each parade night, starting with the session number and next to it the actual date for the parade night. And just to the right of that are the periods 1, 2, and 3 for the parade night. And just to note that each parade week is shaded in alternating colors, blue and white. Down below the date for the parade night is the activity information box. These are empty early on in the training year as we don't have any events scheduled. But as you move down, you see we have some events listed in there. And these are events that take place between each parade night, and they include regional events, supported training days, and optional activities. Sometimes listed activities exceed the display area, and you can enlarge the view by clicking on the activity information box, as I'm going to do right here, and you get the expanded view, and you can read the detail there. That box disappears as you mouse away, and the screen returns to its normal view. Orange activity information boxes indicate supported training days, one or more are scheduled in that time frame. This gives these activities added visibilities as you create your parade night training schedule. Just to tour the left part of the screen here, we have your class filter with each of the training classes listed, so you can select which class you want to work with. Down below that is the PO filter. You select the PO. Just below that is listed all of the EOs that belong to that PO, and if you click on one, you will see information displayed pertaining to that PO right here in the EO information box, and any scheduling notes pertaining to when that PO needs to be delivered and scheduled are down below that. In this area of the screen, we have some additional function buttons which we'll cover later, and just to the left of that we have the special date buttons for the ACR, COs parades, and stand downs. Before you begin scheduling, it is recommended that you complete these special dates buttons in order to block off these items as appropriate in your scheduler. Starting with the annual ceremonial review, click the button to open the dialog box and just make your selections as appropriate. Will the ACR be on your parade night? Many times yes. Will the ACR be at the parade night location? Often yes. The template already knows that my parade night is Tuesday. I click on the select dates drop down and I get a list of dates within the typical ACR time period, and I make the selection that I want. and click Close Form. And if I scroll down, we'll see that the ACR now is blocked off in my parade night schedule. Going then to CO's Parades, I click on the CO's Parades button to open up the dialog box, and I have my CO's Parades choices here. CO's Parades, of course, are optional, but if you do want to use them, then you would use this tool. Any dates shaded in yellow have other events scheduled in and around those dates, and if you want to know what they are, you simply double click on the date and it will give you a list of any activities. It's just for informational purposes, so you don't have to exit out and go to another screen to find out that information. To select a date as a CO's parade, in my case I want to take the first parade night of every month. You go to the date that you want, and under the event field, double click in that space, and it indicates that that's a CO's parade. I haven't yet occupied any time on my parade night schedule. This would be what you would do if you wanted to have the CO's parade during part of your opening or closing parade. If I want to take up some of the time on the parade night schedule, I would then click under the period field and make one of these choices. In this case, I'll choose just to block off the first period as part of the CO's parade. And then you would just continue and make your other CO's parade selections. You want to do this at this time to block off, particularly if you want to block off time in the parade night schedule, so that when you do your other scheduling, you know that those periods are all free. And as you can see, it's very easy to do and it doesn't take very long. And there we go, my CO's parade selections are complete. I hit the return button and you can see already the CO's parades are blocked off. The final special dates button that I want to make use of is the stand downs. I should block off any time periods where we will not be up and running. A common one is to do with Christmas break. So I should make sure that gets blocked off in my schedule. You enter the name as you want it to appear on your training schedule and your unit calendar. And you click in the start date. Use the month and year selections as appropriate. We're a Tuesday unit, so starting here and going to the end date, again using the month and year selections. So I want to go to January of 2014, and we'll be stood down until January 5th. Another common one would be spring break from school. And I'll just select a week there with a start and an end date. And when complete, hit close form. And you can see the Christmas break is blocked off in the parade night schedule. And you can see spring break is as well. Once your special dates are taken care of, now is a good time to consider any other special activities or occurrences that will affect your training schedule. For example, if you want to incorporate a social activity near a special date, such as Halloween or Christmas, or any other occasion where you need to block off time in your training schedule. Let's look at two examples. Often at the very start of your training year, you will block time off for returning cadets or signing up new cadets. So the way that you can do this very quickly is to right click on either the session number or the date for the week, and you'll get the parade night options menu. From here you have some choices. We're going to go to the middle one, which is activity. We'll be demonstrating the other ones later. I'm going to select activity. I create a name for my activity. In this case it's going to be recruit night, and it's going to, and then we indicate who's going to be participating in this, and we'll get choices for periods as well. In this case, it's going to apply across the whole unit, and it's going to affect all 3 periods. I hit proceed, and you can see that time is now blocked off, so I won't be scheduling any other training on that night. As well, I might want to schedule a social activity near a special date, such as Halloween here on this parade night. So if I right click there, I want to create another activity, create the name, in this case Spooky Dance, apply it to the whole unit, select all 3 periods, and click proceed. And you can see that time is now blocked off. The next thing to consider is EOs with critical scheduling requirements, such as PSRY and EOs that need to be scheduled before particular supported training days. Starting with PSRY, you first want to make sure that you have the correct class or training group selected using the class filter here. In this case, the first class of year 1 is fine. And then I want to use the PO filter to select the PO that I will work with, in this case PSRY. I get a little reminder that only one module of PSRY can be scheduled in a given session or day. And I click OK. All the EOs belonging to that PO are displayed directly below the PO filter. If I click on an EO, I get basic information about that EO in the EO information box. And down further still are the scheduling notes that tell me any particular information related to exactly when that EO might need to be scheduled. So I've got my EO selected. I go to the desired date where I want to put it in this case the 2nd period of October 1st, and I double click in that field. You notice that it is highlighting that EO, and as I click the next EO, you can see that all the EOs that belong together in a particular PO get highlighted. That highlighting can be turned off by clicking on one of those EOs and can be turned back on again by also clicking on an EO. So that is a very convenient way of finding all the EOs that are grouped together. And I click on 3 because 1 and 3 must be done by the end of October, and I schedule that. Then I look to do 2 and 4. As the scheduling notes indicate, they simply need to be scheduled prior to the end of December. If I click, I can use the scroll bar here. If I click on the arrow, I advance 1 week at a time in the schedule. If I click on the scroll bar track, I will advance 11 weeks at a time in the schedule. So scheduling the last 2 classes of PSRY. Then I want to turn to looking at pre-scheduled EOs, and I want to find out what EOs might need to be scheduled before an activity, and I want to get those scheduled in now before my schedule gets occupied with other EOs. In this case, I'm going to look at exercise falling leaf. And if I click in that orange box, it's going to give me that expanded activity box information view. And it's saying right in there that 3 EOs, M19001A, B, and M19002, need to be pre-scheduled. As I mouse away, that information sticks in the EO information box. I can simply then go up to the PO filter, select 190, and here are the 3 classes that I need to schedule before exercise falling leaf. And so I will start to do that. Again, it fills from the top of the list, and you just simply need to double click to schedule EOs, and you can see that PO highlighting. If I want to do a double check to know if my pre-scheduled EOs are scheduled correctly, I just click again on the activity information box where that supported training day is, and it does a little check. Those EOs remain highlighted in yellow. That means they're scheduled correctly. I'm just going to unschedule one to show you what would happen if it was scheduled incorrectly. I'm going to put it down here. I'm going to left click into this activity information box, and that EO is scheduled incorrectly, and so it's highlighted in red. So that's a great way of checking quickly if you've made any errors in that regard. I'll just unschedule it and schedule it in the correct location, check again, everything's good. With key dates and critical EOs taken into account, you are ready to schedule according to your training design. I'll begin with PO 107 in year 1, and I simply select an EO. I can look at the information about that EO. It says that this one shall be conducted at the beginning of the training year. Looks like a good one to start with. I also note here at the bottom of the list that there's an EO for that I've selected, a complimentary one about touring the squadron. That's probably good here. If I need an EO other than the next one in the list, I have to select it, go to where I want to put it, double click, and in it goes. And then I want to continue scheduling from the top of the list. And double clicking to schedule, you'll see how the PO highlighting is working, creating a lot of visibility where I'm scheduling these EOs that belong together. And very quickly I've scheduled an entire PO. Go up and go to the next PO that I want to schedule. As I schedule EOs, they come out of the list of EOs to be scheduled. Double clicking to schedule an EO, and if I wanted to unschedule an EO, I would also double click to put it back in the list of EOs to be scheduled. And so it doesn't take very long to schedule a lot of classes, and you would just continue creating your training schedule as such. We're going to go off camera and complete the rest of our scheduling, and when we return in our next video, we will be covering advanced features of the initial scheduler.